Hey, sports porchers! It's game 77. The Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, welcome back to the Sports Porch. I'm your hockey Jesus, and boy, do I have some great news for Pittsburgh Penguins fans everywhere across this great big universe of ours. The Pittsburgh Penguins, if today, at this very second, ends. That's right. The Pittsburgh Penguins would be in the playoffs. They made it the whole way back. This 8-game point streak has just been incredible to watch. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than watching a third period like I just got done watching. Holy moly. I can tell you that is playoff hockey in its finest form. I know we're only on game 77 and there are 5 more games to play. But my, oh my, what a game it was. Look, Pittsburgh came out like they have been the last 7 games. They came out smoking hot. Crosby scores in the first and really kind of cooled down after that. Tampa Bay looked like they weren't ready to play, to be honest. But the Penguins were really taking it to Tampa Bay, really liked their game in that first period. And then in the second period, wow, they just dominated. They dominated the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, look, I have to couch this a little bit because, one, we're on the porch, and the couch is the right place for the porch, especially in Pittsburgh, especially if you're in South Oakland. But let me just tell you something. The reason is Tampa Bay's already in a playoff spot, right? They're just playing not to get hurt. They're just playing for a position. Look, do they want to get out of that 4th position? Maybe. I'm not really sure. I mean, are they afraid of coming over here and playing the Rangers? Maybe. Would they rather play? Who is it they would play? Would they rather play Florida in the first round? Maybe. I mean, it's hard to know where teams' heads are. They want to just be playing good hockey. And I'll tell you what, Tampa definitely played some good hockey in the third period. We'll get to that in a second. But in the second period, it was definitely dominated by the Penguins. They got some puck luck. Look, they've been getting puck luck during this streak, and that's really important during a streak. Here's the things that are important during a win streak like the Penguins are having. 1, puck luck. Puck luck's very important because when you're not really doing great, that's it, man. I mean, you got to get some puck luck to get that puck over the net. 2 is excellent goaltending. They got it again tonight. I'm not saying save the game goaltending, but timely saves. Look, Ned tonight was only at 889. He wasn't even above a 900 save percentage, mostly because of that Tampa power play is just unbelievably great. But you got to have timely saves. And 3 is you got to hold on. And that's what happened in the third period. Look, Gino scores to open up the second. Stamkos gets a good power play goal. 3, it's 2-1 at that point, and you're like, here we go. It's just going to be one of those 2-1, 3-2 games. And then Letang gets some puck luck, and Gino works hard to get his second goal. Most of those were in, by the way, most of those were in the meat of the period. There was no towards the end, right at the beginning sort of thing. So it was pretty standard scoring from that standpoint. And then in the third period, wow, that third period it had everything. I mean, it had absolutely everything. Of course, Tampa Bay comes out and scores in the first minute. Always a bad thing. And honestly, they probably should have scored 2 goals in that first minute. They had some glorious chances, but only Nicholas Paul grabs I didn't even know how he got that. It went off the sideboards or something, and then he just swung around and slapped it right past Ned. I don't know. I'm not going to fault Ned for that, but it didn't look like he was ready for that shot. He should have been more ready. It was a nice slapper by Paul. And hey, Paul, he's got 23 goals on the season, so it's not like he's not a goal scorer. Duclair, okay, so the Duclair goal, before the Duclair goal happened, though, that collision between that referee and Fleury, I believe, who they ran into each other. I've never seen a player and a referee not notice each other on the ice like that. That was pretty scary. I mean, anytime you see somebody motionless on the ice, that's a gut check for everybody, including the fans in the stands. It's really a scary situation. You don't really know what's going on. You assume, maybe they just got knocked out, but you don't know what's happening out there. So there was a bit of a play stoppage for a while, and I actually thought, the Pens were starting to get back to their game. I don't think it took the wind out of their sails because I actually think Tampa still had a lot of momentum. But when stuff like that happens, it's like you're starting from scratch when you stop for 15 minutes like that. I'm thankful that the ref was okay, had movement, everything looked fine, but it was just a total fluke play where neither of them saw each other, and the Tampa Bay defenseman he just didn't see him, and then he was bleeding when he went off the ice. He didn't come back, so he probably has a concussion too. Hopefully, both the referee and the players will be just fine. Yeah, Kazari is the guy. I guess he's a longtime veteran ref, so we hope he's back because we need good refereeing in the playoffs. I hope he heals up real well. I'm sure if he's in a Pittsburgh hospital, he's getting world class treatment, no doubt. We got great hospitals here in Pittsburgh. He should be just fine. But right after that, Duclair comes right down Broad Street and just fires one right in the slot, right past Ned. Ned's not ready. Duclair was, and he scores. Stamkos then, again with the power play. God, you could see Carter was on Stamkos the whole time, and then he just decided not to be with him. I don't understand that. Carter played such a great game and then did let that happen. Once the game's tied, I hung my head as the hockey Jesus and said a little prayer. Hopefully the hockey gods and maybe somebody like the hockey Jesus can bring some luck to the Penguins. And I wasn't sure we were going to get it, but who shows up? It's Gino Machino, Evgeny Malkin, with just an incredible pass, and Bunning kicks it off his skate and right in front of the net. How about that, man? This is really amazing to think about. Bunning in front of the net like that. That doesn't happen if Jake's on the ice. I'm past Jake at this point. By the way, I was watching all three of those games last night, and I got to see Jake play. He looks great playing for Carolina, and he actually helped Carolina propel that team to a win last night, which was good for the Penguins. Who did they play last night? Carolina played the Capitals. That's right. They played the Capitals last night and came back from a 2-0 deficit to beat them. That was great for the Penguins. We needed that win by Carolina in a regulation win at that. But Bunning doesn't make that play with clearly if they don't make that trade. But I just love him in front of the net. I think Bunning brings a presence. I told you, I think Bunning can play anywhere. He's on the second line today. I think he could play up on the first. I think he could play down on the third. That moves racks around. Raquel had a couple brilliant opportunities even before that to score, and he didn't. But they get the go-ahead goal, and then it's just, can they hold on? And the Penguins did hold on. They had Sid out there taking draws. When I see Sid out there attacking the puck the way he does, I keep thinking to myself, why did they never have him on the penalty kill? He's so good at that chase game. And I know he gets tired now that he's an old man, at least by NHL standards, certainly not by anybody else's standards. But I see him out there doing that, chasing pucks and getting the pucks. I just think what a great penalty killer he would have been. But tonight, the Pittsburgh Penguins absolutely did what they had to do. They got the win. Look, let's talk a little bit about the playoff picture. Last night was the first time I had 3 screens going. I was watching the Flyers lose to Buffalo. I was watching the Capitals lose to Carolina. And I was watching Detroit losing to the Rangers. By the way, it's really hard to root for the Rangers. I'm sorry. I know I wanted Detroit to win, but oh my goodness, it's just so hard to root for that team. It's a lot easier, by the way, to root for that team without Rempe, part of their lineup for sure. But hey, all 3 of those teams won, and that was important because that meant Flyers stuck at 83 points. The Capitals were stuck at 82 points, and Detroit was stuck at 82 points. And look, with that win, I just have to do this because I've been wanting to do it all season long. I got the Pittsburgh Penguins right here. That's right. These are the Pittsburgh Penguins. Who's that? The Flyers. Oh, hi, Philadelphia Flyers. Time for you to meet not playoffs. And it's time for the Penguins to be in the playoffs. I've been wanting that for so long. I'm so thrilled about being able to do that with you guys here on this station. Now, look, I might have to take it down in a couple hours because later this afternoon, the Islanders play at home versus Nashville, and the Flyers are on the road at Columbus. So if either of those teams win or get a point, which means they can still lose but make it to overtime. I hate that loser point. That's why we don't do it here on the porch. And the hockey Jesus does not believe in loser points. But if they do, then your Penguins will be out, and that just makes the game at Toronto that much more important. Also, if you're going to be watching some hockey this weekend, the Caps play tomorrow. They play at home versus the Senators, and Detroit play at home versus the Buffalo Sabres, who just beat the Philadelphia Flyers. By the way, it's so interesting how, you can play against teams that are already in the playoffs, and it's sometimes a little bit easier because those teams that are out of the playoffs, they're just out there to play, to have fun, honestly. So sometimes it's harder to play against those teams. I know that seems contradictory, but hey, that's why you come to the porch. You come for the real information. I appreciate every single one of you being here and hitting that subscribe button. I don't know if I'm doing it, if it's on this side or this side, but just smash it. I'm here after every Penguins game. I'll be here for the duration of the hockey playoffs. I give it to you raw. I give it to you real, and I promise I will be here on Monday when the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto. They've not had a good time against Toronto. By the way, Pittsburgh can actually still lose a game and still be in this, by the way. They just need to go 5-1. So they can lose any game. I prefer them not to lose when they play Detroit at home on Thursday, which I'll be going to the game, or at the Islanders the last game of the year. That one would be devastating. So Pittsburgh Penguins win tonight / this afternoon. It's a 5-4 win in regulation. That's another regulation win, which also increases their chances if there's a tiebreaker. By the way, the Pens have 31 regulation wins now. That's the most of all the teams in the hunt, and that really gives them a leg up in the playoffs. Should there be a tie going at the end of April 17th. So hey, stick with the hockey Jesus. I'm here for you guys. I'm going to make you all disciples of hockey. If you are already a disciple of hockey, smash that subscribe button. Send me a message. Let me know how you like these recordings, and I'll see you Monday night. Keep the faith, and let's go Pens.